everybody.
Hold on one sec. There you go, Councillor Spence. It started recording.
Welcome to the ward meeting. It's a long time we have not had one, and it's nice to see everybody here. I hope you all enjoy coming at this moment. Just want to advise you that on the online meeting, that recording will be available for future record via the council YouTube. So there's no need to record from the meeting. What is important right now, we are going to move to that's item 2 on the agenda. Item 2 is the declaration of interest. Anybody has any interest to be declared? Any interest to be declared? No? No?
No, I don't think so, Councillor Spence.
Oh, I'm not hearing. Anyway, no interests have been declared. Move to item 3 on the agenda. On the agenda now, 3 to 5 minutes presentation for funding up to £10,000. And we'll have Michael Maguire from Jewellery Quarter, Boxing Club. Michael Maguire, is he here?
Thank you, Councillor Spence. Michael Maguire actually isn't here today, so I'm going to do his presentation on his behalf.
Oh, you, Maxine, going to do it on his?
Yeah.
Oh, so you are Michael Maguire at this moment. Okay.
I am, yes. So thanks everyone and good evening to you all. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Maxine Reid and I'm one of the managers at Birmingham Settlement, but I'm also the lead facilitator for the Celebrating Communities project selection meetings for Ladywood. So thank you for allowing me to kind of bandula your meeting. I just wanted to say that the original agenda that went out, it had 2 presentations listed, and we are now down to 1, as the second presentation has moved to another ward. Just to explain that this presentation is going to kind of be in 3 parts, really. Sorry, the part of the meeting will be in 3 parts. I will read the summary report, then we shall have a discussion, and then hopefully we will be able to have a vote as well on the application. So if people don't mind, I just need to share my screen with you. And Councillor Lowell, Councillor Spence, I did actually send this to you via email, so I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it.
I've not had a chance. We'll do the sharing.
That's fine. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So this project proposal is on behalf of Michael Maguire from the Jewellery Quarter Boxing Club. And I'm going to read it, obviously, from the actual screen itself, because it's obviously in their words. So the outline for the proposal is that we would like to hold an outdoor pop-up event where we celebrate the boxing club within its own community and showcase the 2 athletes from the Jewellery Quarter Boxing Club who currently represent Great Britain and are on track to representing England at the 2022 Games. We will erect a mobile black boxing platform and publicise the event by inviting the local community to come and meet the volunteer staff of the boxing club, its members, and of course, their 2 showcase athletes. We will offer taste activity sessions delivered by our qualified coaches alongside our current members and use this to inspire more members of our community to become active and to engage with the 2020 Games. The idea occurred to us as we were having an increasing amount of activity on our social media platform from people within the community who were following our activities, and in particular our 2 GB representatives. We would like to offer the opportunity for the people of our local community to see those athletes training and then interact with them during Q&A sessions. Moving on to the objectives. Initiatives need to deliver against one of the themes below. Sorry, they've actually quoted the question in the application form. From what I can see there. So just moving down a little bit. I think the question is, why is this one of the best ways to bring people together in the community? And they are saying that it's an outdoor space where all ages can come and take part in a fun, relaxed and safe environment. Because it celebrates a boxing club and its athletes and members who are from and within the heart of their own great city, it will increase a sense of inclusion and pride as they head towards the 2022 Games. Our members are so diverse that they will demonstrate that boxing as a sport is inclusive and open to all people from the community, regardless of their gender, their age, ability, ethnicity, or anything else. Then they go on to talk about costs. The total request from the selection panel is £1,700, and that will cover the cost of the mobile boxing arena at £550, administration and promotional costs. Administration based on 30 hours at £15 per hour, £450. Promotional materials amounting to £300. Coaching staff times 2. 1 day each at £100 per coach. Boxing gloves at £200, which includes pads, and total amount applied for, as stated there, is £1,700. And it also mentions that they will provide stewards and additional volunteer staff to man the event, and the cost of 4 stewards for 1 day at £100 per day equates to £400. Okay. I'm just going to click on these links here. It's not a video or anything like that. 1 second. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think this information is just taken from the British Athletes Commission. It's quite detailed, and it talks about, I think it's actually quotes from individuals who've taken part, as far as I understand. And it's based on the Paris 2024, I think, Paralympics. Okay. People need more time to have a look at that? Are people happy for me to move on?
I'll happy you move on now.
And then I think the second link is just a link to their Facebook page, just to show their presence on social media. I'll just bring this up very quickly. Apologies for this. These things never work as quick when you need them to.
That's how things go sometimes.
It is. So this is a link to their Facebook page, where you can kind of see some of the photographs, and they have a community following, and there are some videos and things like that that are on there as well. And there's a photograph of someone who'll be representing Great Britain. Okay. And lastly, they're just a series of photographs. The first one is of Kerry Davis. Can you still see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. And the last comment from Michael Maguire is that he hopes that you can offer support to deliver this engaging event. Okay. Thank you for that. I mean, normally at this point in the meeting, we would ask for kind of questions to the applicants, but obviously Michael is not here and I'm unable to answer any questions for you. So really what we kind of need to do now is just have a bit of a facilitated discussion on the application itself, what I've read out to you, or any questions of clarity that you might need. And just to mention, the total allocation for the ward is 35,000, but at the moment we only have the one application, and the request is for £1,700.
Right. Well, anybody have any questions?
Councillor Al, I can see you've got your hand up there.
Councillor Al.
First of all, I never heard of Untitled Boxing Club. So I'd like to know where they're based and how long they've been running and why the application on a plain paper. Have they got a proper letterhead or something if they are properly organised?
That question I can't answer. I'm assuming that they are based in the Soho and Jewellery Quarter ward. That's as much
But
as
no address, no history, no background. This, I mean, obviously, though the application is only for reasonable amount, but we need to have the background to verify that they are bona fide set up in the ward.
Okay.
And
Patrick, shed any light on that at all? Having worked with this group, are you able to shed any light?
I haven't worked with the group, but the application form, the address is the Jewellery Quarter, Councillor Lau. What Mhrc has just read out is a summary of what they are requesting. They did complete a proper proposal application form, and we checked their address. They are based in the Jewellery Quarter from one of the units, and they have been there for a number of years.
Can I also say that people are encouraged, communities are encouraged to do things in the community for the Commonwealth Games. So it is important that we have people doing this sort of thing in the community for the Games. I am very pleased, really, to learn that they have people from there that will be taking part in the Games. Is that so, Maxine?
Yes, that is correct.
That's right. I'm very pleased to learn of that. It is important. And we need more people from the community to form themselves into groups and do things for the Games, the Commonwealth Games. It is important, very important. What his name is not here, but I don't think you need to leave the meeting, Maxine, because not because you are representing him. But I will go ahead with whatever is proposed, because I'm sure the officers and them look. Pat look through the application.
Sorry, if it's up to the people who are present in the meeting, they're going to ask questions first, then they decide, not me and you decide here. It's the people who are present who they decide. They're the member of the community.
Yeah. In terms of the voting, Councillor, just to clarify, is voting will take place. Voting will only take place if there are up to 6 residents present at this meeting, including yourself and Councillor Spence. So we'll come to that part in a moment. I just wanted to get the deliberations out the way as well. So I'm noting your comments. I can also see that Patrick Guest has got his hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Maxine. I've heard the Jewellery Quarter Boxing Club. I'm quite a fan of boxing myself, but so I think they're in Henrietta Street. But I've only recently moved into Ladywood. I've just had a look at their Facebook page. It hasn't been updated very recently. March 2020 was the last post on it, but I'm guessing that's down to COVID. So they do look legitimate, and I don't think. I mean, clearly you need to be absolutely scrupulous about the validity of the proposal, but that summary was really quite compelling, I think, and I think the proposal itself is outstanding and highlights something positive that's going on in the Jewellery Quarter. I know some people get a little concerned about boxing. A lot of people think it's very dangerous, and actually it's not. It's actually one of the world's safest sports. It doesn't even make the top 10 most dangerous sports in terms of serious injuries or fatalities. And I think that there is a bit of snobbery about this, because you routinely hear calls for boxing to be banned because it's so dangerous. But horse racing and show jumping, rugby and mountaineering are much more dangerous sports. But you never hear any call for them to be banned. And they're sports, of course, that are patronised by largely more affluent populations, whereas as boxing attracts people from, you know, a whole range of demographic backgrounds, but particularly the more deprived. So I'd be really keen to support this. Not that my opinion matters much, but there you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah, Max, Chair, come back.
Yeah.
If my understanding, Henrietta Street is in Newton Ward, not the Soho Jewellery Quarter Ward.
I'm just having a quick look at the application. Just give me one
It's
second.
outside the ward. It's more like it. They're based in Newton.
They're based in Ladywood. Well, it's definitely B19.
So that's they're not in the ward though. That's the thing. And
B19.
this is not the this ward funding is not for outside the ward.
Is it where they could get the venue in the Jewellery Quarter? Is it because that's where the venue is?
I think that's what it is, Councillor Spence. It's the venue.
No, the venue is outside the ward. Henrietta Street outside the ward.
Yes, I can understand you, Councillor Lal, what you are saying. But what I am saying, sometimes many of the people are from the ward. You wouldn't get everybody. But the venue may be in the ward and other people can come from outside, you know, and then we can cater for that. So it is important. I would like to let this go ahead. I don't know who else, but this is something that I'd like to see the community doing something.
Okay, but the problem is this thing, the applicants are based outside the ward. They're based in Newton Ward, and the venue would be on the outside the ward. It's part of Newton.
But they said JQ.
No, sorry. Part of Newton Ward is also classified as JQ, but they are not necessarily in the Soho and Jewellery Quarter Ward. They're part of the Newton Ward, part of the Jewellery Quarter. They're not all part of the Jewellery Quarter. So really, these applicants should come to Newton Ward because the Henrietta is based in the Newton Ward.
Oh, they're based in the Newton Ward.
Well,
yeah.
Well, Councillor,
so why do they say JQ?
Well, because part of the Newton Ward is also known as JQ Ward. Your JQ, your Commonwealth JQ. It's the left-hand side of the Great Hampton Street.
In that case, I would like to ask this question, Maxine, if you could, or if you can't, you find out for me.
So,
how many people from JQ are attending this event, practicing? Yeah. If we could find that out, because even then, if they are from Newtown, yeah. And if you have residents from the JQ who are taking part, yeah. Then it just as if it's JQ, but it doesn't matter to me. JQ, residents, we have, our concern is about residents.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, but my thing is, why didn't they apply to Newton Ward in the first place?
I think it is that thing, Councillor, about the base, as Pat pointed out earlier, and you know, the base may well be in the Jewellery Ward.
Newton Ward. It's Newton Ward or part of the Jewellery Quarter. We have the right hand side of Great Hampton Street, the Waterstone Lane side. The opposite side is Newton Ward. So these are this Henrietta Street is on the side of the Newton Ward.
Okay. I mean, I get some clarification on that. Okay. And I'll just check with NDS.
Yes. How many residents from JQ are attending? Because yes. Even if it's from Newton and the residents are attending, that's all that matters.
Yes. No, what the issue is, why didn't they apply to Newton Ward in the first instance? I'm there to be on Monday. So why didn't they apply to Newton Ward in the first instance?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
If I can interrupt, Councillor, I think the questions that you've asked, we will go back to the group.
Okay.
As I said, this has been, you know, there are a number of questions that you've asked. Max is unable to answer those questions.
Okay,
we will go back to the group and we will report that back to you as soon as we get the answer.
Okay, but I mean, that's the reason. See, we want to know for in the public domain, obviously, the public wants justification of for supporting any bids which are outside of our ward seat. So really, the applicant should have gone to their own ward in the first instance.
Okay, I can see, Andrew, you've got your hand up.
Andrew?
Yeah, yes, yeah, it was
Okay.
just well, again, it's another question really to take back to the you know, the applicant, but it obviously it mentions a mobile boxing ring. So I guess the question is, you know, will the actual event, because most of the money is being spent on this event, will the event be in Soho and Jewellery Quarter ward? You know, do they have a particular locality in mind for the event? Because I think that for me would be the key thing. You know, if the actual, you know, event itself was happening in Soho and Jewellery Quarter, then, you know, that would be fine, you know, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, that's fine.
I am concerned if they have residents in the Soho and Jewellery Quarter, as long as residents are being looked after, taking part and enjoy the fun of it, I am happy. But Councillor Lal is quite right. Each ward has its own funding.
Yes.
And because each ward has its own funding, people are should go to their ward first, and then they could come and say, you know, we got some funds from our ward, but we have a lot of people from JQ and Soho, so we wouldn't mind get some funds from Soho, JQ and Soho as well. You know, so that would be fair.
That's fine. I'll obtain that clarification. So based on that and the discussion that we've had, people don't feel in a position to vote on this application at the moment. Is that right? Yes. Potentially we'll bring it back to another meeting. Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, thank you.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for accommodating. Thank you.
Okay. Now then, we go on to item 4. Who is here? Leslie Miller is here.
We've got Joanne Bradley from Public Health. Joanne Bradley, Councillor Spence.
Oh,
from
Joanne.
Public Health.
Oh, yes.
So
Joanne.
she's going to run through the details of the consultation and explain what's going on. Okay.
Okay. Okay, Joanne, your time.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm just going to load up my presentation if that's okay for you.
Yes.
Just here we are. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so thank you for inviting me this evening. I'm Jo Bradley and I'm from the Public Health team at Birmingham City Council, and I'm at your forum on behalf of the Health and Wellbeing Board this evening, and I'm here to share with you an opportunity for you to get involved and comment on the draft Health and Wellbeing Board strategy for 2022 to 2030. It's just been released today, so you're the first public meeting that we've presented it at. If I can just give a little bit of background, and apologies to those of you who are well informed about the work of Public Health and the Health and Wellbeing Board, but if you could just bear with me. So Public Health are responsible for protecting and improving the health and wellbeing of the population, but we also have a specific responsibility to help reduce health inequalities. So that's the gap between the health of the richest and the health of the poorest in the city. The Health and Wellbeing Board has been around since 2013 and is a place for political, clinical, professional and community leaders from across the health and care system in Birmingham to come together to work in partnership to do their best to help improve the health and wellbeing of residents and reduce health inequalities, including those that have been worsened by the pandemic. Having a strategy to improve health and wellbeing is a must-do for the Health and Wellbeing Board. The proposed 8-year strategy, Creating a Bolder, Healthier City, sets out ambitions up to 2030. This draft strategy has been shaped and developed over the last 3 years, building, learning and incorporating the experiences from the Public Health Green Paper consultation in 2019, which you may remember being involved with, insights from our joint strategic needs assessment, focus groups, research and surveys. All of these have been helped to shape the draft. The board also recognises that this is a partnership approach, No one organisation can do it on their own, and at the core of this is the Health and Wellbeing Board's vision, where the focus is on citizens of Birmingham and ensuring that everything is informed by your lived experiences. So this is an overview of the proposed strategy in a diagram, and it highlights the themes, the stages and areas of inequalities it will address.
Joanne, sorry, it's Kay. I'm not sure whether it's just my screen, but your slides aren't moving on.
Oh, aren't they?
I'm not sure if it's just on my screen, but
I'll come out.
The first one.
No, it's not moving either. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Let's try and come out. Oh, I told you I was having problems, Kay, with my Teams today. It's typical, isn't it, really? Would you just bear with me while I leave and come back in? Is that okay? I'll just literally be seconds.
Okay.
Sorry, thank you.
Hello, Councillor. We may need to move on to another agenda item and then get Jane back in when she's able to fix IT. If it's fixed,
yeah.
She can send the information to myself, and I'll try and share it from my end.
But can we have a briefing with all the slides? Is that possible, John?
She's frozen on screen, Councillor, so she's definitely having technical problems.
I prepared. We can just have the briefing with all the presentation. You can have the presentation afterwards. You can email them to us.
I'm not sure whether we've got Councillor, sorry, not Councillor, Sergeant Lovell with us yet. You could move on to the police update. I think we've got
Sergeant Sangha here. Okay.
Sergeant Sanger's here, but
I'm back again if that's any help.
So
I'm back again if that's any help.
Joanne's back now.
I am back. I'm so sorry. I'm just having absolute nightmare with Teams today, so I apologise.
Okay, carry on with your flow then.
Let's try and get back to where we were, shall we? I don't know if it's going to share now.
I was wondering who you were talking.
Yeah, so I was and you're wondering what I was talking about, probably.
Yeah, we passed
okay,
that.
so
we passed this one.
Is this it? Can you see the slides at all?
Yeah, that's
yes.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's start from the beginning of this one. So this is an overview of the proposed strategy in a diagram. So it highlights the themes, the stages, and the areas of inequalities it will address. And the aim of the strategy is to close the gaps and inequalities at pace and scale across the city. It has 5 core themes for action, and these are the 5 blue boxes on the slide, and they cover the wider determinants of health, health protection, and environmental public health. So 4 of these core themes align with existing Health and Wellbeing Board forums. So the first core theme is healthy and affordable food, and that links in with our Creating a Healthy Food City Forum. The second one is mental wellness and balance, and that links in with our Creating a Mentally Healthy City Forum. The active at every age and stage, which links in with our Creating an Active City Forum. We have contributing to a green and sustainable future. And the 5th theme is protect and detect, which links in with our Health Protection Forum. The Health and Wellbeing Board supports a life course approach, and this is split into 3 stages, and those are the grey boxes at the bottom of the slide, which are getting the best start in life, working well, ageing and dying well. And this is reflected in the strategy with the 5 core themes running throughout the life course, alongside mitigating the legacy of COVID and equality, diversity and inclusion, and that's represented by the blue arrow strip. The Closing the Gap section, the pink circle arrow, aims to address health inequalities and link to poverty, marginalisation and structural barriers and challenges. There are 5 key areas of inequalities of focus in the strategy, and they include inequalities based on deprivation, on ethnic communities, on wards, on inequalities between inclusion groups such as the homeless population, and inequalities affecting people with disabilities. The delivery of the strategy will explore these inequalities, identifying any significant gaps and dedicating specific resource and effort to addressing them, closing them and improving outcomes for citizens in Birmingham. But how will we know how we're doing? How are we going to measure the impact of our efforts? Let's hope this slide moves on. Has that moved on for you? Has the slide? Yes. Good news. Good news. Okay.
It seems to be working now.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll measure the impact of the strategy over the next 5 to 10 years, and the forums I mentioned will agree specific and measurable indicators to track these changes and demonstrate progress. You can see from the indicators here, with infant mortality and life expectancy, Birmingham is presented as significantly worse than the England average, so we've got lots of work to do. So the big reveal of how you and other people across Birmingham can get involved in reading and commenting on the proposed Creating a Bolder, Healthier City strategy. And that should be here. So for those of you at the meeting, you are obviously tech savvy. You can go to the Be Heard website where the draft strategy and consultation can be found. So you can read the document, the strategy, and share your feedback there. You might want to think about how what is suggested in the strategy could inform an impact on your ward plan. You can also ask any questions about the strategy or consultation by emailing the address on the slide. And I understand that there are going to be some focus groups taking place across the city as well, and they'll be to try and capture the views of people who may not attend a ward forum or be comfortable contributing online. Alternatively, if you have any burning questions now, I can make a note of those and take them away and get a response for you. But I imagine you'll want to read the strategy first. I'll put the links into the chat, and I'll be happy to share a copy of the slides as well, so you can have those. I'll put those into the chat as well. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Yes, Councillor Spence?
Are you? I've seen your hand went up.
No, sorry, Councillor Spence. That was just to so I could say to Joanne that her slides weren't moving. Patrick's got his hand up though now.
Patrick.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor. Great stuff, Joanne. And this is right up my street. And it's
excellent, Patrick. I'm excited.
Well, his proper job was Deputy Director of Public Health at Sandwell.
Ah, perfect.
I know Justin. Hamira was one of my trainees, so I know a lot about you lot and doing stuff. And I think for the benefit of the two councillors, I'm sure they know this, but Birmingham's public health team is regarded as one of the best in the country. I mean, and I know I'm a brummie, and I would say that, but it's true, and they've done fantastic stuff. And this is great. I haven't had it, and I feel privileged that we're going to be the first people to be able to have a look at this thing. So
absolutely,
it's absolutely great. And just one comment, because obviously you couldn't foresee this, but it is going to be an issue for us in Birmingham. The WHO updated their air quality guidelines yesterday. Yes. It's published, and we in Birmingham, we are the great majority of Birmingham. We know that we have a problem with air pollution in Birmingham, but the WHO standards were always tougher than the EU standards, but now they're extra tough and they're evidence-based. So us people living in central Birmingham, the new WHO standard means that we are being exposed to levels of NO2 4 times above the WHO standard, and twice that for PM 2.5. So two of the most hazardous, if not the most hazardous air pollutants in the world. And I think that's something that we're going to have to look at very seriously in Birmingham. But great stuff, and congratulations to you and the team. I look forward to reading this. Can I just ask, there's no chat function on this. I've got another Zoom at 8, so I'm going to have to leave about 5 to. But thank you, Joanne. That's great stuff. And say hello to the team for me.
I will do, Patrick. Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you, Patrick. I like the name, John, from zero to hero. Have you heard that?
I have heard that.
Yes, I like that name. I think when I heard the word healthier city, I feel good, because it's from a very long time, especially in the poorer areas, people just throw all sorts of things onto people and don't understand that health is wealth. It is important to eat healthy, very important, because it sustains you and you have a longer life in everything you do. It helps you to do it better. Anybody else have any comment?
Thank you, Councillor
Yes,
Spence. You sound like a great advocate for us.
John, is the consultation only online, or is it available in other formats as well?
Yeah, at the moment, Councillor, it's online, but we are looking to do focus groups as well across the city. So I'll make sure that you're kept up to date with when those happen.
Okay, and what the time scales are?
Yes, sorry, December. Where the consultation is open till December, so we've got it's only gone out today. So yeah, we've got a few months for people to have a look at that, and yeah, I'll make sure that we keep you updated with the ways that you can get access to it. But I'm happy to if you're struggling to get hold of anything, just Kay can come to me and I'll make sure that I get whatever it is that you need in whatever format.
What we would like to do, John, when you got any focus groups in our ward, we like to be informed so that we may join the focus groups to assist in whatever way we can.
Absolutely, Councillor Lal, I'll make sure that that happens.
Okay. Andrew, any more questions? Okay. All right, thanks, Joan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Yes. We've gone down to item 5 now, question and answer session, but I don't think we have that here. Any questions at all apart from what we just heard that anybody would like to ask?
Jay, you haven't got the police on board yet. The police report and the waste management.
Say that again.
We haven't done the police report yet, or the waste management. We got Wayne Sivers and I think Louis Percent from the waste management, and we got police as well. They got to do their presentation.
Are they in the meeting? They're waiting to talk.
Yes,
I was just going by the agenda.
Yeah, we've got the police sergeant here, so and the police update is the next item on the agenda. So if nobody else has got any other questions for Joanne, I think we can probably move on to the police.
We do. We will move on to the police. No more questions.
Right.
Okay.
There we go. There's Sergeant Sanger.
Yes.
Hello. Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
This is the first time I've done this meeting, so you're going to have to try and lead me through what you want from me. I've not done a ward meeting for over 10 years, unfortunately, because I was doing other roles. So if you lead me through what you want me to do, I will try and do my best. That's okay.
Sergeant, I think what normally happens is, if I can just guide you, that in the previous ward meetings, when we had face-to-face, now online, the police report to the meeting any issues for the relevant area, then any questions from residents. So you can just highlight the main policing issues in the what issues are, and how we, the resident, can be made aware of it, and what the resident can do to help themselves for fear of crime, and also how they can help the police as well, particularly.
Yes, I mean over the obviously the students going back to university in the Jewellery Quarter is impacted, but we do have areas where they will come from the city centre and come over to the Jewellery Quarter and the nighttime economy as well. We're all aware of that, and we have been working and supporting the local businesses regarding that uplift of our population that's coming through. We're trying to get the message out to the students, obviously not to walk around with your valuables, with your shiny new laptops and your big phones, but coming from different cities, they don't appreciate the fact that they are becoming a bit of a target. So all that information and all that work is going out there. We have got an officer who's dedicated to get that prevent message out to the students that are coming in from the university, especially when Freshers Week is pretty much on top of us as of next week. So I should imagine next week's going to show a little bit more of a footfall coming through the Jewellery Quarter, especially regarding the nighttime economy side of things. So that kind of stuff, that kind of crime prevention has been put in place. We are looking now for the future of the ward for crime prevention, excuse me, is the darker nights. Obviously we're all concerned about darker nights, and we got the end of the month. We're going to have near the end of the month of October, we're going to have the fireworks. So again, we'll be putting plans in place regarding visiting any firework shops, making sure they're adhering to their conditions. Obviously darker nights and the clocks going back is a sign that people are more vulnerable later at night. So we're trying to get the message across again regarding any burglary information we can give out. Things like locking your door, making sure your windows are secure, reporting any activity to the police that sounds suspicious, people hanging around that shouldn't normally be hanging around. So all that messaging is going to go out over the next month, getting ready in preparation for that. I cover more the Soho Road side, and it's Sergeant Lovell that covers the Jewellery Quarter side. And we do work in partnership with each other, and we do work in the same actual ward, but different areas of the same ward. So if you've got any direct questions, you can ask me. I can try and get you the answers. If not, our plans are definitely looking at the next 2 to 3 weeks is going to be towards getting ready for the darker night, getting ready for the students landing, and then going forward and sending that message across. Obviously, we will have our activities, police activities in the background which I can't disclose, stuff that we will be doing regarding any kind of warrants that are going ahead, but we are working towards them as well. Regarding the Jewellery Quarter itself, on its own, Sergeant Lovell is well on board with the school as well, the JQ Academy, and we have got our schools links officer going in there and working with the school to identify any kind of up and coming issues that could come from there. We have got a strong retail connection with the Jewellery Quarter, with the stores and the shops. Again, any kind of concerns that we get identified, we do work towards addressing them. Over the summer, if I go backwards, I'm not sure how long ago the meeting was with Sergeant Lovell, but over the summer we had a few incidents where Rolex watches were being targeted in the Jewellery Quarter. We've had some incidents when people from London have come down to sell their Rolex watches, and then they've been robbed, which has been peculiar, because how would they know that they're coming down unless somebody's telling them? So we've had 2 incidents of that over the summer, and doesn't seem to be any connection, but there seems to be people from out of the area coming in to sell stuff and being targeted, and that wasn't happening very late. It was happening about between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, so it wasn't happening super late, but more towards in the afternoon. Again, there was no pattern to it, and it kind of stopped just after like the Augusty time. So it was about two events happened where 2 Rolexes were taken, and again they weren't from our area, but they were actually coming in to sell their Rolexes, and somebody must have known they were doing it, but we didn't know. We couldn't figure out how it was. They were going to different shops as well, so it's not even the shop. You can't even say it's the same shop, but that's probably the only pattern that's happened regarding the Jewellery Quarter. There is. Do you have the update on the Soho as well, the Soho Road area as well?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Soho Road area, then, as you well know, is quite a busy area and has quite a lot of transient population. We had a fantastic result over the summer regarding our campaign to reduce robberies. You may or may have not seen the posters that we put up and the information that went out on Twitter regarding street robberies around Soho and the prevention, and that worked really well for us. I mean, I'm not taking all the credit. I'm sure the footfall due to the lack of numbers due to people keeping social distancing may have played a part, but it's been touch wood a good result for us, and we're going to do the same campaign over the Soho ward regarding the darker nights and the burglary vulnerable areas. So that's all in hand. We are going to be working with the Perry Bar side, who also cover the Soho Road, for an operation regarding the issues around Linwood Road and the Crossguns. We have put an application in to have a camera from the local delivery group. I'm sure Councillor Lal's aware of that one, I'm sure. And that's going to be there imminently. So we'll have that little bit of support and that evidence that we can pick up from that camera to take us forward regarding CPWs and acceptable behaviour contracts, and then arrests if we can do that. But yeah, it's at this moment we're really planning on getting on top of the Darker Nights campaign, and obviously the vulnerability due to fireworks and the selling of fireworks, which is going to be the next issue in our area. And we know there'll be pop-up stores. We know they'll pop up for a short period of time. Are they abiding by their license? Are they selling to people that are of the right age? Again, this is all stuff that we're going to be addressing over the next couple of weeks. So we're well on top of that. Any questions regarding anything I've said so far?
Louise, your hand is up. You want to speak?
Yeah, it was just a really quick question because I'm not sure about where things are. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, right, excellent. We're from Street Scene, which has got elements of waste management and all sorts of things in it. And we were working really closely about it before the pandemic with Joanne and the partnerships team. And that seems to have disappeared. And I just wondered if that's gone. So I had a list of the old high impact areas, of which Soho and bits of the Jewellery Quarter were in there, but I haven't been able to make contact with any of them since. And it's to the point where I'm actually quite worried about it. So I don't know if the high impact areas have changed or anything, if the partnerships team have changed. We've got contacts with various officers, and we do have obviously yours. We've got all of those, but what we don't have is somebody who's got the overview of all of the high impact areas and how they all work together. I've got 8,000 streets to worry about.
Oh, dear.
There's a lot to worry about. So it's just a question to go, I know that COVID changed our overview, but is there anybody we can talk to now that's in charge of the high impact areas and the partnership teams? Because at the moment we're just doing it on our own, and we'd really prefer to work in partnership.
Absolutely agree with you 100%. I will definitely take that way and find out which team's actually running that. The high impact areas at the moment, and that's to do with, it's going to be to do with violence under 21. Is Lazelle's and Aston at the moment. I know that for a fact because we have to do a lot of operations on that side as well. Yours is waste management, and
no, we're Street Scene, so we've got lots of things. Right, so waste management is one of the things that we've got.
All right, okay.
But we've got grounds maintenance, we've got lots of things, the Chelsea Flower Show, baby sloth every now and then. There's lots of things that come under Street Scene. But the point is, we had 22 high impact areas, of which Kings Norton was one, all sorts of different. There was lots of different ones. But we had one point of contact, which is Joanne Whitehouse, but I haven't been able to make contact with her for over a year.
Okay, Joanne Whitehouse. What I will do, I will chase that up. And have you got my email?
No, if you could put it in the chat, that would be great.
I will put it in the chat for you. My email, and you can. What we'll do is we'll have a correspondence together, and I can then put you in touch with the right people once I find out who they are. I can chase up partnerships and find out who's coordinating that side of it. Yeah, I can sort that out. That's not a problem.
It's also a really good idea to talk to us, because where you get things like drug paraphernalia and anything that looks, we will see that before you do sometimes. So having a good contact on the ground just removes the problem before it becomes a problem.
Absolutely. I mean, we do have areas on the ward where we do find paraphernalia, and we do have vulnerable areas where people are using it as a bit of a dumping ground. So, and obviously crime then generates around it, where people are hanging around. But absolutely, I'm very, very, very keen in working together and getting the intel from yourselves as well, and moving forward. So I will drop my email in the chat for you to pick it up, and then we'll have a correspondence, and I can get on top of that with you, and I'll speak to Joanne and see if she's left the department, she'll still know who I can contact.
Yeah, you all move around quite quickly, don't you? So sometimes you just don't catch up with it. So
yeah, the problem is it's not from our design, it's the way the job is. We get told you're going here or you're going there, and you don't really get much of a choice. So sometimes you're just told to go. So
well, we all appreciate that. It's just knowing. One of the things about the ward forums, it's all about the joined up, knitted together approach. So we all speak as one voice, and if you don't know who you're talking to, it just gets a little bit tricky. So yeah, lovely. Thank you. That's lovely.
That's my work. Sorry for interrupting.
Councillor Lal.
I can't hear Councillor Lal. He's muted.
Muted. You're muted.
I'm okay now. Sergeant Singh, welcome to your first meeting to our ward, and we look forward to working with you. There's a question here from one of Wendy Cripps. She's our housing engagement officer for the ward. So when you go to ward, she's asking in the chat, do the police still carry out the community walkabouts? Because in the past, before the lockdown, we used to have regular walkabouts with the multi-agency, more or less to have a action day on particular area to tackle multi-settled issues. Do you still have any plans for them in the future or not?
Yes. Not only do we do them, we're still doing them. We've got 2 street watches that we walk around regularly on the Soho and the Holyhead Road areas. We've got the obviously the bid. We do joint walkarounds with that. That hasn't ceased. It has reduced because of COVID, but we were still having those contacts. If there's any kind of street watch or group that wants that support, again, my email's there. Drop me an email, and I will make sure if it's on myself and the area that I am responsible for, I'll make sure that we make contact and we have those walks and continue that relationship and build on it. If it's an area that one of my colleagues works on, i.e. the Jewellery Quarter, where Sergeant Lovell works, I can pass the message on. I know for a fact Sergeant Lovell is interested in that joint walks, and obviously you know the areas, you know your vulnerable parts, and you can then inform us, and then we can take the appropriate action. It was, as I said, it was diluted a little bit due to social distancing, but now we've resurrected that, and like I said, we've already had several joint patrols and action days with we've had the Nishkam's Street Watch, we've had the Soho Road Street Watch, and we had the Holyhead Road Street Watch. All those have taken place. Councillor Lal's aware of the Soho Road and its councillor. I've forgotten the name. Hamilton. Yeah, Hamilton. Councillor Hamilton was actually walking around with us last time we went out with the Street Watch at Holyhead Road. So yes, it is going on. It's just a matter of now. Let's get it back up to where it was before. So please, let me know which areas that you would like the walks and the contacts, and I will make sure that the relevant sergeant or myself will get in contact with you.
Okay, I think
is that a legacy hand? Sorry.
No, it's a new hand. It's a completely new hand waving at you. It was just to let you know that actually we've done a couple just recently with the sergeants involved. It was weird during COVID because Soho Road, particularly Soho Road, is a real nighttime economy. Nighttime economy was closed down during COVID effectively. So there was less of a reason to do that, although I suspect some ASB raised in that aspect of that time. The relationship in terms of the sergeants hasn't gone away. What has kind of slipped by the wayside is more the coordinated. This is how we're going to do it, when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, and who it affects. So Councillor Lal and Councillor Spence will know that whenever I do an all-out day, there's 100 people probably there, of which the police and the fire service are prominent. I think the issue, well, it's not really an issue. I think we're in a brave new world now, aren't we? Because we're coming out of COVID, things are now opening, and therefore the streets are becoming more open. So I think the challenge is a little bit different and not as it was. So all the walkarounds, me and Councillor Ladd have done loads of walkarounds on Soho Road. All of those walkarounds, and what was true 2 years ago is probably not true now. So we've just got to get to, so what does this world look like for this area? We are always guilty of treating Birmingham as one size fits all. It's not. All the 6-9 wards have got very different flavours and very different issues, and we've just got to respond to those, and they're changing. So I think genuinely, this is a time to look and see and react to what the street is going to become, because I think it's going to be a very different street to how it used to be.
Yeah, I agree. Already we're seeing that the impact of COVID has changed the demographics of who actually goes and stands around on the street. So I think we get that intel and we get that contact at an early stage. It will only be beneficial. And I really benefit the fact that you've done this before, and there are areas that.
Yes.
There are areas that we did want to set up some kind of community day, things like Waverhill Park. We wanted to set up a community day there, but
any chance you cannot mention Waverhill Park to me, because I will cry.
I think we could talk and talk when it comes to these issues, because in the Soho area, back this side, a lot of antisocial behavior still going on. On some streets, people are cooking on the street, and the residents are furious. And the parking of the cars, it's so bad. One house will have only one house, and they have 5 cars. So they take up the other residents' parking space. It is so bad around here.
I think. Sorry for interjecting, but I think the streets when they were designed, they weren't designed for families to have 4 or 5 cars, and I think that now you drive down any road on our area and it's wall-to-wall cars parked. I get that absolutely, and some cars do park inappropriately. I do want to set up a joint operation with the council regarding designing out some kind of way we can look at the long-term beneficials of a plan, because you can go around, you can get on Soho Road, you can give tickets, and Holyhead Road you can give tickets all day long, and the amount of people that come and go doesn't really impact the problem. So we've got to think out what is causing the problem, what can we do to solve it. Obviously residential areas where we're going to do a letter drops regarding the darker nights, so that can incorporate the parking and being a bit considerate to your neighbours and how parking and the offences that it does occur. So more of a educational way of dealing with it around the residential areas, and regarding the more retail areas, i.e. Soho Road, Holyhead Road, Nineveh Road, we were looking at working with the council, with the parking enforcement officers, and having those joint operations with that. That's going to be set up over the next 3 or 4 weeks. Hopefully, how quickly we can set that up with them will depend more on them than us. But Councillor Ladd has got me in contact with some really good people, and I'm in the process of setting them up. Me and Councillor Ladd did have a catch up last week where we kind of looked at where we want to be in the next 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and I'm now working towards that. So I will hopefully by the next ward meeting give you a better update regarding what we've done in the meanwhile. And like I said, me and Councillor will be in contact probably quite regularly before then as well.
Okay, thank you.
Louis got a hand up again.
Yeah, it was just to say, I've got the mandate for that, actually. Cleaner, Greener Streets is all about that. So I'm going to put my email address in the chat, and if we can talk, this is exactly what my job is. My job is to span all the well, City Operations Directorates, to make sure everything works together at the right time to get the right result. So that's my job. So it's probably okay if you speak to individual officers, but it's probably better if you speak to the people who actually have got the span of all of it. I'm not saying I can fix it. What I can say is that technically is my job. But I'm just...
You've dropped out, unfortunately.
Is your microphone off? Louise, your microphone switched off? Okay. Sergeant, that's good. So Louise will be...
It's not switched off. I don't know what happened. But I've put my email address in the thing. Okay. So I think the thing is, I've got to do something in the next 2 weeks with Soho Road bid anyway. Can you hear me? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got to do something next 2 weeks with Soho Road bid. So if we can talk and just come up with a plan, that would be really great.
That's fantastic. I mean, we work with the bid on a daily basis anyhow. If I'm back in on earlies tomorrow, so if you drop me an email tomorrow, we can start sorting that out over the next 2 weeks and actually plan it as a proper operation rather than bringing it together last minute. So if you contact me tomorrow, I'm in.
Oh,
work.
Everything I do is a proper operation. It's never last minute. It's never last minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
would appreciate that.
Okay, Sergeant.
Hurry on.
Sergeant.
We'll finish on that topic now.
No, not yet. Sergeant, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sergeant. Singer.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. So Louis is you two organising the action day on Soho Road, but we as elected members, we are there for the whole of the area, not just for the main roads. So what we want to do is have the same sort of exercise in the Winston Green area, James Turner Street.
Yeah. But when it's my turn to
Two Park Road, Reynolds Road.
Yeah.
Okay. I think like Louise says, it's a different environment to what we left it 2 years ago, and I think if we do it somewhere and it works well, we can learn from that and then we can move it to another area, and I think that's how we should be doing it. We should take the lessons learned from one area that we've done it in and take it into another area, and I absolutely agree with you. Once we have done that one Soho Road, we can then look at doing one on Dudley Road. We can then look at doing one in the Ladywood, around that area, kind of like crossing borders a little bit. But absolutely, I'm all for that. But I think initially we've got to learn to work together again, and then let's get that part of it right. Let's get the one and fix any areas that we've got, and then move on to the next one. And I think collectively we can decide where we want to take the next one. I think we'll be guided by yourselves, because you guys will know the areas that you need that support.
And it's the partners that are so key in this, and particularly the councillors. So I might look at a bit of data, but I know Councillor Lau and Councillor Spencer will go, no, it's not those roads, it's these roads, it's a different set of things that's going on. So it's all about, we've got some data, we'll work on data, but then going back to the communities and the people that are responsible for the communities and saying, is this right? Because you probably go, oh, do you know what, that's not. And we all know Soho Road bid, the Soho Road is going to create the biggest amount of noise because of the length of the road, the size of it and who it's got. But actually there's lots of roads, Councillor Spence, absolutely right, there's lots of roads out of that are going, hang on a second, I've got 14 cars outside the house, I haven't moved for 4 years. What are we going to do about that? And that causes problems with all sorts of things like drainage, litter, it just creates lots of problems. So working really close, the partnership, in my experience, is the only thing that would make this work.
Absolutely, and the more we can work together, actually, the more we can design out crime and design out antisocial behaviour, rather than trying to come in last minute and trying to fix it last minute. So I agree with that 100%. So I'm really keen to do that and really keen to learn from that and move it on to other areas as well. And absolutely agree with you. The roads off Soho Road and Winston Green and around the Jewellery Quarter, we've got to work it as the same. We can't, and I know everybody thinks Soho Road, but vulnerable areas are everywhere. So we've got to then, and you as a collective will know the areas that need that support. So absolutely. So I think the way we'll do it is, I think initially we'll set one up, and then we'll get a method and how we're going to do it, and then we can move it to another area.
Well, just to put a spanner in the works, we've already set it up, so it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, and we'll tell you what's going on.
That's even better. Yeah, that's even better. I prefer that.
Yeah, that's
you
good.
tell it.
So,
yeah, but again, it's a learning. It's a learning experience for not just yourselves; it's for us as well. We've got to learn to work with our partners, and we've got to learn that the demands that you've got and the constraints that you've got. We're going to work with you as well. So that's absolutely brilliant that you've already set it up. And now we can work together and we can see what support we can bring across and what we can do. So absolutely, no, fantastic.
Okay, that's good.
We have a long haul on this. We will never stop tonight because so much problem in the areas.
Thanks, sir.
Anyway,
we
will move on now.
Okay, thank you, Sergeant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Is Charlie joining us? Charlie Lovell.
Charlotte Lovell. No, she's unfortunately.
No,
unfortunately,
we're going to move on now.
Yeah, Sergeant Lovell's unfortunately not able to join this meeting, but
okay.
Myself, if anything you need to pass on to her, I can pass it on for you.
No, fine. Thank you. Thank you.
We are moving on to item 5 now, local environment and waste management. Wayne? Is Wayne around? That's Wayne. Hi, Wayne.
I am, how are you?
Oh,
how are we all?
I'm fine, Wayne. Tell us all about it now, Wayne.
I will do. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for the invite for tonight. I want to talk to you about what we call the MHRC.
Yes.
As most of you are aware, we have 4 sites where people can go and empty their own rubbish in Castle Brom, Perry Bar, Lifford Lane in Tyseley. We've come up with a fantastic initiative where not everybody can actually get to these CA sites. So we've come up with this idea where we will take the CA site to the public. And the idea behind it is that we will take a recycling vehicle, a dust cart, and what we call a wee vehicle for fridges and electrical goods and all that to a road, and residents from around that area will take the goods they need to get rid of to us. And then that way, then it will make it easier for because some residents can't make it to these CA sites. We have a program, and both of you are aware of the program, where we will contact you to potentially say where we're going to be. And once we have that program, what we will do is we'll leaflet the area so that the residents know in advance that we're going to be in the area. The idea behind it is that eventually we will always go to the same sites over a period of time so that people get to know us. Now, in your area so far, we've done a couple of roads like James Turner and Chandler's Close and that, and we're picking up 1 ton from James Turner, 2 ton from Chandler's, and 1.3 ton from Chapel Street. They're excellent weights, absolutely fantastic weights that the residents are bringing out to us. So that is our new initiative for what we call the mobile HRCs. If anybody wants to ask any questions on that, you're more than welcome.
Yes, Wayne, I would like to ask. How many days notification have you given?
So the idea is that we will give 2 weeks notification. So we're 2 weeks in advance.
That is good.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I asked the question is because I've got some complaints from residents saying they didn't know that the MHRC was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody told them. And then it's from 7 until 12, isn't it?
Well, yeah, or depending on if we've got a fantastic uptake, we will stay there until all of it's gone.
Okay.
I'm
just talking about the complaints that they said they didn't know, and when they caught on, it was gone.
This is a new initiative, so it's people getting used to us being in that road at that time. You know, a leaflet going through the door. Sometimes people just ignore a leaflet going through the door, so people will get to know we're going to be there.
Wayne, if you give us some leaflets, we too can distribute the leaflets because we want the residents to take it up.
Absolutely, Councillor. And when we send you the roads that are that we are going to, on that attachment, there are the leaflets there as well. And on the leaflet, it has the road, the date we're going to be there. So yes, you can have them leaflets also. More the merrier. This
is what we would like, because then the residents can't say they've never been told, you know, because they have a way to try to get out clause.
It's a brand new initiative, and so far we've had a fantastic uptake. We have 4 new recycling vehicles across the city, 4 trucks that go with that, and what we call a WE vehicle for electrical goods. So we recycle all the products when people bring it up. It's fantastic. It's a really, really good system, and it's working so far so well. Councillor Lau? You're on mute.
Welcome and long time no see.
It is, Councillor.
Right. A couple of things. We are pleased about the MHRC. Right. The only thing is, I met with John Stein. He's, I think, coordinating it for our ward. Then we agreed that we will come to some sort of understanding where would the most appropriate location would be. So John chosen Chandra Close and Chapel Street, and I said to him, this is supposed to move around because every part of the ward or the residents need to have access to the mobile facility. So if we keep bringing it to the same site, the other people are going to miss out, right? So what happened was, and John did agree to me that he will come to some discussion on where the website would be. I had an email from him today, I think you've seen the copy, where he's come to the same site, Chandra Close and Chapel Street, which we were not happy in the first place. So I sort of sent an email back to him saying, we wanted to relocate it to some other site. Okay. So I think we need to sort of work on the best site, which we think would benefit our residents. It's no point us putting this mobile recycling centre at the same location or in the same part when the other parts are, equally impacted by not having the, and Mana, correcting to your opening, the Perry Bar is closed for 2 years. So
Wayne, can I jump in because I've got a bit of an answer which you might not know about, Wayne.
Okay. Fine.
So this is part of £7.2 million worth of investment that's going into street cleansing. It's one element of it. There's lots of other elements. And one of the people that we've just recruited literally in the last 4 days is a performance engagement officer that will be talking to you all about where these things need to go and then talking to the depots about so at the moment, everybody's working on data. So we're going on what's the worst flighted areas. So we're going on data that we know that we can go. So why have you picked on my area? We've picked on your area because we've got the biggest amount of data about that area. We have now recruited somebody who will be talking to you all about the issues in your own particular ward. And it might not just be about these MHRV. I can't even get. When I wrote the business case, I called them Saturday skips, but it's called something else now. These mobile household recycling vehicles. So what we've done is recruit somebody who will literally sit down with you all over the coming months and go, right, this is the data we've got. This is what the LAMS, that's Land Audit Management Surveys, tell us. This is what the fly tipping hotspots are. Tell us where your issues are, and the depots will be able to then either respond positively or go, actually, there's not enough data to go there. The data's actually moving us somewhere else. So nobody's picking up. There are a couple of issues which Wayne will go into, I'm sure, about these vehicles are massive. They've got to be safe. They've got to be parked somewhere where people can access them. They're not shutting down roads. There's lots of operational reasons why a vehicle has to be somewhere. What I'm saying to you is that your access to this won't just be around the individual depots. There'll be a performance engagement officer. Her name's Selena Ellis, and she'll be in touch with you all to talk about the areas you want and what we can physically do. So we might not actually put a mobile household recycling vehicle there. What we might do is do something else to meet the needs of that area. But we will respond in that way. This is one element of a big load of investment that Birmingham's put into the streets. Is that fair to say, Wayne?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's Lewis. I'm aware of the extra investment, and also we were told that we put another £1 million towards picking up the extra goods like fridges and freezers.
That's the we. So when Wayne talks about the we, that's WEEE. Wasn't talking about that's the electrical goods.
Yeah, Lewis. Yeah, that's fine. But as you know, the worst here is Wayne Road is like Preston Road. It's daily. We got fly tipping there. Hall already got fly tipped. James Turner Street, as you know, right? And Factory Road, where the industrial areas by the Hive.
I haven't got the word for Factory Road. Factory Road is an enforcement issue, actually. It's not street cleansing, it's an enforcement issue. So it's really clear that we can send teams in there every day, move 3 tons of waste every day, and it will still be right back.
Yeah, Lewis, I'm already had a meeting about this with the police, with Sergeant Sangha. So we need to have a George action on that one. Because I understand.
We really do, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Sergeant Sangha, are you aware of the issues you are facing? Where I've been informed that our waste enforcement team was threatened with the violence. So Sergeant Sangha needs that information. Because he asked me to ask our managers if any of the staff being threatened with the violence from that place. They need the evidence so they can follow it up. So Louis, it'd be good
it's a perennial problem. Anybody in waste management will say to you that our perennial problem is that everybody fly tips, everybody knows who's fly tipping, and nobody is going, I've seen it, I'm prepared to report on it. That's just not, we just don't get it. And trying to find evidence that you can, which is forensic enough to go to court, is always really difficult. So even if you find a passport, it doesn't mean the person whose passport's there was the person who fly tipped it. So the forensic nature of waste management means that enforcement's it's really difficult, which is why there's a significant investment in enforcement, as you know. But in very real terms, in terms of what we're trying to do with the streets, things that we want your residents to be excited about is we're bringing HRCs to them. We're not expecting them to come to us. And to be honest, when I wrote the business case, I was so excited. Wayne probably will tell you, I was so excited when I wrote the Saturday Skips business case, because I just thought, you know, this is going to be a really good way of getting this stuff. And I'm so delighted it's been met with so much positivity. But it only works if everybody works together on that. And the worry we've got, me and Wayne have got, is that once everybody knows we're going to go there, what you get is a fly tipping site, potentially. So we're a little bit nervous about that stuff. It hasn't happened yet, but it could. So we're a little bit nervous about that.
Louis, fine. But as I say, the criminal elements of the fly tipping, I think we need to work with our police officers, please.
So environmental crime is a thing which Birmingham obviously is really concerned about, and you've got it just on because you're on the border of Sandwell, particularly just Chiswell Road, that kind of area. You do get it, but it's an enforcement issue, and Councillor O'Shea has got a real plan to deal with that, including cameras, name your shame, and all that kind of stuff. But also, is he massively invested in our enforcement officers as more enforcement officers start dealing with that?
Well, Louis, while you're on I don't take to prolong the meeting on this particular topic. We were promised that Soho and Jewellery Quarter, you're on the highest fly tip area. We were promised one of the 4 dedicated enforcement officers for the ward, and I haven't seen anybody of them yet.
Right, to be honest, I don't actually know what's happening with the enforcement recruitment, but I will ask Martin Smith about that. What I can tell you is Love Your Street's my element of it. I interviewed 4 people this afternoon for my enforcement post. So, and those will be the Love Your Streets, the high impact areas, the ones at Pioneer Wards, high impact areas as defined by the police, and the Lambs ones. So for Love Your Streets, I'm hoping to get somebody in like really soon. There's lots of checks you have to make for an enforcement officer that they've passed the relevant stuff and they've got the relevant experience. So it's taken me a bit longer than I thought it would do, but we will have that for the high impact areas. The business as usual enforcement stuff is Martin Smith, and he's got a very clear plan, but because of the nature of the work that he does, he has to keep it quite, as you know, Sergeant Sanger said, sometimes you don't declare your operations, do you?
No, understand that. Okay, fine. But anyway, we can have a separate meeting on this, I think. Okay, fine.
Right. Any more question on that? Because
sorry, Councillor
I
Stokes,
know.
I'm not sure
Sorry?
Wayne had finished his presentation.
He hasn't finished.
You might want Wayne to finish his presentation.
Yeah.
That's my fault. That's my fault. I will apologise to him later. Sorry, Wayne.
When it comes to rubbish in the Soho and JQ, really you can't finish because it's like wiping a block of ice dry. You put it out.
Sorry, Councillor, to go back to what Councillor Lau said about you naming the roads to go to. Absolutely, you know your areas. The idea behind it is that once we've got that area or several areas, we stay in the same location so everybody gets to know us. So we provisionally put where we think is the best places, but you will know somewhere probably better than we do. So absolutely. So if you can liaise with myself or John, and we will come up with a rota of how long we're going to come, you know, each time we come through.
That's fine.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that, Wayne, because we know some areas never touched, no matter how. And you know, down Hockley, down South Road, Chairman, you remember the other day when we were walking around doing leafletting, how they showed us the pile of rubbish. You know, sometimes it's on private land.
Okay, Sergeant Sanger got his hand up. Sybil, Sergeant Sanger got his hand up. Sergeant.
Who?
Sergeant Sanger.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Sanger. Okay. Yes, can you speak now, please? I'm seeing you.
Hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah. That's me moving the mic out the way. I do apologise. Wayne, I was really keen to build on that, and obviously with the enforcement side, and I think if we get our heads together and we can pick the days where we come out with some of my officers come out with yourselves, and it shows that united front, doesn't it? That this is something that we're not going to tolerate, and we're going to work together, and the partners are going to work together. So absolutely, Wayne, I'm really keen, and obviously we get the community telling us the vulnerable areas as well, so we kind of have a picture of the streets that we need to work on. Me and Councillor Lal were talking about this last week, and there was a couple of issues that we needed to identify and get on top of. So absolutely, I'll be in contact. Have you got my email in the posts? Yeah, brilliant. Like I said, I think you and me work together, and I'll and whichever days that we can, I'll allocate some of my officers to come with you for that support that you probably will need in those areas, because like you said, the vulnerability, sometimes some people can be a bit more aggressive than others, and so but if you've got the police support and the enforcement side of it, it kind of supports you guys as well, doesn't it?
So it might be worth us copying you into the emails that we send to the councillors then for locations, etc., etc. We do work closely with Louise, so when Louise coordinates her part, we'll be there as well. So
Brilliant.
she'll direct us on where to go as well.
That's fantastic.
And to be really honest, the response we've had about the mobile recycling vehicles, Wayne, I don't want to put words in your mouth, tell me if I'm wrong. We haven't had any antisocial behaviour. Everyone's been really lovely so far, haven't they? They've taken it really, really quite well. So we haven't had any problems with that. What we get problems with is when we're doing what's called duty of cares on businesses, where businesses don't like us.
Yes. Again,
doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Louise, there are businesses that are we are concerned about, and how they conduct their wastage.
Are they chicken shops by any chance?
Yeah. Well, could be. I think you know them as well.
I do.
But
yes.
so absolutely, a joint approach with my officers would be fantastic. and like I says, it sends that message across to the community that we do work in partnership, and we're not.
Wayne's team is really fast response. It's one of the best depots in the city in terms of response rate. So you know, if you email Wayne, it happens really quickly. Sometimes not so much on the other sides of the city. I'm not mentioning any names, Wayne, and I'm not saying anything, but Wayne's team tend to be the fastest to respond, and we tend not to have an issue in the city centre. It tends to be just slightly outside, mostly in Ladywood, if I'm honest.
And just to finish off, Louise mentioned at the beginning about the additional money. We've got an additional 3 extra graffiti crews also that are new to the service, and also as well we got 4, this is across the city, 4 dumping crews as well. So we've got plenty of new resource coming in to assist us with the issues that you have.
I would love you to put one of the MHRC on Preston Road.
Yeah, so originally in October, we were going to go to Chandler's Close and Chapel Street, but we've had an email this morning to say to go to Norman Street, Pill Street and Preston Road. So what we'll do is we'll change that into them 3 roads, and then we'll update you on the when we're going to do Chapel Street next time. And then what we'll do is we'll give you a forecast then to the end of the year on potentially where we're going to go. And if you feel that's not the right place, we can change it whilst we're in the planning stages. Okay.
Okay. Well, I am looking forward to see these streets become clean. Because I know a lot of the council is putting in a lot of effort to make it happen all over the city, not just Soho and JQ, all over the city. So when you start rolling properly, I am looking forward to see the place keep clean. Okay? And thank you all for coming. We must move from this subject now.
Thank you very much.
Because time is going. Yes, thanks very much. Item 6 now. Well, we've been talking about local issues. Councillor Lal, you have anything to talk about?
No, sir, I think we have covered most of the issues. I mean, the most rubbish, issues we gather is rubbish related, and the policing issues, I think, are always emailed to the police, like speeding in the JQ and late night parties around Lodge Road and some late night parties in Glassmere Road. Anyway, these issues, I think, I have been taking up on behalf of the agents. Directly.
Yes. And we talked about
on the road safety. Yes. We as the councillors have a highway budget which got to be spent within the this year up to March 31st. So if there are any highway safety issues which need addressing, then perhaps somebody can drop us an email, then we can put them in to a highway manager to consider them, to get them implemented this year. These are like road safety markings, bollards on the corners, stop indiscriminate parking, and causing traffic hazards, highway hazards.
Yes, and Evangeline was very active with installing metal gate, freestanding gate and keys, installing trip rails and all this all over Capstone Avenue, Hurdley Avenue, Abbey Street, and Peel Street.
See, but Louis got a hand up again. Louis?
Sorry?
Louis got a hand up.
It was just literally, I've got another, are we on any other business now? Because I've got a bit lost in the agenda because I can't see it.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
So I've got any other business item for you, which is a bit of good news and a bit of bad news, but, you know, I'll try and package it so you feel a bit better about this.
Give us the good news.
Right, the good news. The good news. The good news is that I have, I think, I've secured the lease for Richmond Gardens on Soho Road, which is a closed off gated garden. It's been left to rack and ruin for the last 20 years. And I remember being at school in St George's, because I used to live on Bacchus Road, so you know your patch is my patch. I remember helping the design of the tree on Richmond Gardens in the 80s. So I think I've secured the lease to that, and I've got a business plan which has been agreed, where we will take control of that garden, bring Chelsea Flower Show, because you know we're really good at Chelsea Flower Show, to Soho, and open it up to community, working with community partners, including the bid, community schemes, opening that up so people can get access to these things, hopefully Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays during the summer, and maybe just a couple of days in the winter. The business plan's been agreed. The property services have said you're the only people who want it, although the bid have said they wanted it. The bid said they wanted it. What they didn't want to do is pay for it, and there's quite a lot of money that is involved in that. So we think we've got that secured now, which is great news for the environment, because it means that Soho Hill becomes a tourist destination. People who can't get to Chelsea will be able to get to Soho Road. That's really good news for the area, and it looks like I've probably got all the repairs which is about 60 grand. Done for free. I'm not entirely sure how I've done that, but there's a lot of people that are prepared to put their time in, like Kia, Woodland Gardens, Parks and Nurseries. There's lots of people. Wayne's team are prepared to put in their services for free to get that garden up to standard, so that we can start opening it up to the public. That's the good news. The bad news is some of the 7.2 million of the New Streets initiatives are subject to our recruitment, and we've got an international shortage of drivers, and certainly a national shortage of drivers, so please bear with us on that. And we are really struggling with vehicles, so we are slow to kick off some of the ventures we really wanted to kick off, and that's not because we don't want to do it, it's because we're dependent on the supply chain that just simply isn't there at the minute.
Okay.
Okay,
all right. Thank you. Please, I'll have to come to a close now. 7:30 is on.
People.
Yes.
I want to thank Louise. That's for good news. When will you think the Richmond Park will be ready?
Right, so it's all with property services at the moment, and it's been with property services for 18 months now. But I had a conversation last week and said we've got to secure this now. And I don't care if I don't get it, I can put Chelsea anywhere. But there isn't any other bidders. So it's down to property services. If we can agree the lease in 2 weeks, we can, because it's winter, it's a really good time to build a garden, because you just literally drag it out at the moment. That's going to take about 3 months. So I'm thinking January, maybe.
Okay, Louise, and the main thing would be how you going to secure it against vandalism. It's a more or less isolated site. There aren't people who are going to be around it to keep an eye on it. So how are you going to make so it remains
right? So it's a gated garden. So it's a gated garden. So it's absolutely secure. In fact, out of everywhere, the property's been empty for about 5 years, I think. There's hardly anything going on there. It's properly gated. But what we want to do is work with the Soho Road to bid, so they can open it and close it.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, which means that, or maybe not them. It doesn't matter who it is, but a community group, because it can only be used by allotments or gardens. It can't be used for anything else. A community group that will literally open it and close it.
That's what we want.
And look after it. So we will keep it gated, number one, because our Chelsea displays are about £40,000 each. Sure. So you don't want that disappearing under cover of darkness. No. You want it looked after. And we certainly don't want any ASB. But the garden's been locked and gated for about 5 years, I think, and nothing's happened there really. There's a little bit of fly tipping, and somebody's has installed a wood burning stove to keep themselves warm whenever they go there, which is quite inventive, but that's all there is. There's not a lot of ASB there at all. What we do get there is a lot of fly tipping out the front, but I've got a design to design that out. That's so good. So what we will do is once the garden's got to be safe. Number one, the garden's not safe. It's been 20 years since it had any work done on it, and 20-year-old wood, you know, I took Darren Sheridan, my assistant director, and he put his foot through the bridge. So it's not safe. So we've got to be really careful. Got to make it safe, and I don't think it will take. I think 12 weeks. If we can do it over the winter, 12 weeks will do it, and then we can say, right, you lot, your communities, what do you want? And the other thing I want to say in this conversation is, I had £200,000 worth of equipment to give to communities. I've given out 120,000. I've still got equipment to give to communities if you want communities to have equipment, and I would like them to be a part of this garden. I wanted to showcase the best of Birmingham.
That's good. That's good. And we are behind you. No, that's good news for us. We want something which makes good news.
It's not just that
makes the residents happy.
It's not just good news. So what really want to do things like, you know, vegetable planting, a bit of allotments, a bit of Chelsea, just a community garden right in the heart of.
That's right.
Cleaner, you know, right in the heart of where we think we've got all the problems. So we just really want to do that. And the Soho Road bid, I have to say, I'm not entirely sure they understand exactly what's going on at the moment, but we did have a plan with them, but that plan has not gone away. So what I've done this week is force that plan through, or tried to. The only concern I've got about this is Birmingham Property Services. Anybody could come in and go, I want that land, but it's attached to Soho House, which means it's got conservation issues attached to it. It's got some environmental concerns, so there's some newts that you've got to be really careful about. So, and there's some, I think there's 5 trees with tree protection orders. So there's things that we've got to consider, but they're not insurmountable. They just have to be considered.
Okay, all right, Louise. I hope the talk is as big as the bite. Your bite is as big as. Sometimes we have some good ideas, you know, but it doesn't come true.
Well, I've got Floella Benjamin prepared to open this garden, so it better had come true.
Okay, but you do your best. You can't do no more than your best.
To be honest, the Birmingham Property Services said to me Monday, you're the only offer on the table, so I can't see it's not happening. And it ties into the health and wellbeing strategy. It ties into the Future Parks Accelerator. It ties into everything we want to do about our environment.
Okay. All right. Okay, Louise. I am going to close the meeting now. Time is gone far. So thank everybody for attending. And I'm sure we learned something a lot tonight, some of what we didn't know before. I know some of those things that mentioned had to come back to the meeting. I don't know when we will have the other meeting. I don't know whether it's a formal meeting we will have to look at that out, or we will just send emails and so on. I don't know. We'd have to ask Pat and Kay what's happening on that scope.
Can I just ask, if you've got any communities that need equipment, we're still sat on a lot of equipment. So I will make sure that Kay and Pat have got the way of accessing how you get it through the website. But we're sat on a lot of equipment thanks to.
So we'll do your best, Louise.
No, it's not we've done our best. We're just sat on a lot of equipment. So if people want it, they can have it. And we don't loan it, we give it now.
Yeah.
So Sangha, hand off.
Sangha?
Yes, just a quick question to Louise. What equipment are we talking about? What type of equipment? Because
right, so we've got trolleys. They're called street bosses. You can Google that. So it's a trolley. We've got hoops, sacks, litter pickers, high vis, first aid kits, graffiti kits. You name it, we got it. Hoes, brilliant. Rakes, brooms. You name it, we've got it. So we've got an awful lot of equipment, and so far to date, even though we've been in a pandemic, we've issued over 10,000 pieces of equipment.
Brilliant.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some local groups that could benefit from that.
So Sergeant, is it Lovering? Is that her name? I can't.
Lovell.
Lovell. She's had a load of stuff and is asking for more. So and what I want to do, really want to do, and the councillors might need to know this, is I really want Handsworth Fire Station to be the place where there's a base of equipment, because the fire station's open 24 hours a day. So it'd be really helpful, I think, if they work together with us on that. And at the moment, they seem to be sending a positive movements towards that. But there's a bit of a thing about who's a fireman and who's a prevention officer. So just got to get through that. But at the moment, we've got something like 25,000 bits of equipment in our stores.
Okay.
And the trolleys are really expensive, like £500. But we got 5 minutes notice 2 years ago to spend this money. So Birmingham was given 194 grand 2 years ago, but we had 4 days to spend it. Now, normally you can't do that, but we did. So we bought a lot of stuff, infrastructure stuff like the trolleys and stuff like that. The problem with the trolleys is that it's a bit like a buggy, a child's buggy. So you've got to have somewhere to store it. But we've got lots of litter pickers, childs, all the way up to adults. We've got lots of high-vis, first aid kits, or you name it, we've got it.
Okay, all right. Once and for all, I'm closing the meeting now. Thank you all for attending.
Sorry, Councillor Spence, it's my fault, isn't it?
Thanks, Councillor Spence. Thanks, Councillor Lau. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.